All systems go. Cleared for takeoff.
What's going on, YouTube? We're back with another episode of the MLB Witching Hour Thursday edition. I get it. There's Thursday night football. There's day baseball going on right now. We're in the middle of September here, right? When everyone kind of says, MLB season's over. But the best time of the year is coming yet. October baseball. We love that as baseball fans. Gyiraszin, I'm sure you're excited. And it's the start of NFL season 2. So great time of the year. Obviously, NBA, other sports are coming around the corner. But I'll bring you in, Gyiraszin. How are you doing? How's your Thursday? You excited for football tonight? Sounds like you said you're on a little trip. You're not in the normal setup there with the baseball cards in the background, the $100 bill stacks flying around everywhere. How you doing, man?
Great. It's Thursday night. I'm up here at up north in Michigan here at Crystal Mountain. About to hang with the boys for a couple days, hit some golf balls around, drink myself to oblivion, and smoke myself to death. Safety meetings galore. Good times. I can't wait. But, yeah, I mean, hey, it's a great time of year. We got football coming in. For us baseball guys, you know, the dudes that won a little bit of money on Sunday and Monday, they can't help themselves, right? They got to get in some baseball tournaments. So, you know, we get a few donkeys that like to get in our pool here. So definitely like this time of year, especially at the tail end of baseball. Fortunately, tonight, not the greatest of slates. We got 4 games. We might lose one in that San Francisco-Colorado game. But, hey, we're here. We're going to break it down, talk about it, and see if we can get us some money before football. But, hey, don't forget about that showdown show tonight we got on this game here tonight. Be looking forward to diving into that. I might be looking at my phone a little cross-eyed tonight, but, hey, that's all good funds. Can't wait to check it out. Nades, I'll tell you what, man, I can't wait to get out there and hit some golf balls around. You know when you've been hitting it really well and you just kind of keep going back? That's the mode I'm in. I hadn't played like 2 years. I sat out for a while. Came back, never even practiced. I don't go to the range. I don't hit balls before I go out. I just get out there and hit them. And been working out pretty well lately. Been smoking them pretty good. So kind of glad to get back in. Good times.
Oh, yeah, we love that. Well, you know me, I golf a lot. I haven't golfed as much lately, but all summer long, I pretty much golfed 4 or 5 times a week, a bunch of times on the weekend. Got the golf game feeling pretty good. Got locked in. I love golf. I kind of put the softball bats down this season and said, I'm going to get good at this.
That's a tough mix, Nate. That's a tough mix. And
it is. So I used to play softball all the time. I still do. Still play leagues. I used to play a lot of tournaments. This year, I only played about 3 tournaments this season or this summer because I was golfing all the time. I just like golf more. I said, hey, am I going to play golf until I'm 80 or am I going to play softball? Well, first of all, I hope I live till 80, but it's definitely a better chance to play golf that long than softball. So I said, time to invest in and get much better at this golf game. So that's where that was. You brought up that Thursday night football showdown. I dropped it in the chat there in the link. Tambo, Hoop, and Title Crown, who is absolutely on fire right now. The guy continues to print. Hoop continues to print in MLB Street, and Tambo, obviously one of the best players in the industry for years upon years. They broke down that game about an hour and 10 minutes right there on the Mayo Media Network. If you click that link, that'll bring you right to their video that they just recorded about an hour ago. So they went through the entire game, everything you needed to go. Brought down a bunch of the simulations with our partner Run the Sims on there. So very, very good content. Everything you need for the Thursday night football showdown game tonight, including all of our content. Before we jump in, do need to bring this up. It's a new promotion here. Well, not promotion, but a new little thing that we're trying. It's a little 5-day tutorial. The interesting part about, or the unique thing about this is if you get in now, it entires the entire week 2 of the NFL season. It'll last until next week at this time. So if you sign up now, 3 p.m. Central Time, 3:04 p.m. Central Time next Thursday, which will give you access to a lot of the NFL content for that Showdown show because we do put our content up early here. $19. The only thing that you do not get access to is the Discord, which obviously is a very, very pivotal piece in our success over here. The best Discord I've been a part of in my career in this industry. I'm sure Gyiraszin can attest. You on the Showdown show, if you watch that, which I do suggest if you're playing the Showdown games tonight for this football game between the Vikings here and the Eagles, they talk about the Discord as well. One of the best places. That is not included in this $19 5-day trial period, but everything else, our content, our projections, the SHIPIT Nation education, 4-hour video that Hoop and Tambo broke down, going over the entire NFL process, bunch of stuff in there. That's included. So $19, it's a 5-day trial period. One time, you can't just keep signing up for a trial here. So gives you the opportunity there. Our goal is that, hey, you're going to get in, you're going to see our stuff that we have to offer, our content, everything for you, and you're going to want to stick around. So we will definitely then prorate it for you, whether you do the month, the 6-month, or the year package. Everything will be prorated. So give us a check out there. $19 is a 5-day trial. If you are not ready to commit to the full thing, we get it. There's different circumstances. There's other things going on, and there's a lot of other services in this industry where you can be subscribed to. We believe ours is the best, the cheapest, the most bang for your buck, and quality content to have everything you need to have success with DFS. But we feel obviously your guys' money is important to you, and you can spend it where you please. But we do believe ShipItNation.com is the spot. That's enough of the promotion here. Gyiraszin, we came to talk about baseball on September 14th here with a Thursday night football game going on. And we got a couple grinders in the chat, I'm sure. All 23 people watching here are definitely here for baseball because they're baseball fans. They're grinders. Let's talk on pitching like we always do first. Kevin Gausman up at the top at 11K. We'll go 8K and above. So Logan Webb, obviously that game probably does not play. I'm approaching the slate like that Coors Field game is going to get waxed off the slate. So probably don't have any interest in Logan Webb anyways in Coors Field there. But talk on Logan Webb. You got Aaron Savale, Kyle Bradish, Eovaldi, and Kevin Gausman on the DraftKings pricing. We will touch on the Yankees and Red Sox game, the second game of that doubleheader. FanDuel did not leave it on the slate, but DraftKings does have it on the slate there. So those two pitchers will be in the next tier. We'll hit on that as well. So where are you going up this top range? Kevin Gausman, probably going to be 50, 60% owned on the slate against a Texas team that obviously we know what Texas is, but they've been slumping a little bit as of late. Where are you going up here at the top? You're on mute, Donkey. One too many safety meetings for Mr. Gyiraszin.
On mute, Donkey. That's right. But hey, we only got pretty much 3 games, I think, for pitching tonight that, we're going to be able to trust. I hate picking on the Rangers, man. That's like one of the worst teams for me. I mean, I think at this point, I'm going to let everybody else play Gausman and try to go somewhere else, especially with that kind of ownership. But, I mean, you look at his K rate, 31.5% K rate, low walk rate. I mean, obviously the top arm on the slate. It's just a terrible matchup. Bradish is interesting too here against the Rays. But then again, I don't like it going against the Rays either. It's just another team like the Rangers. It just seems like it's just never a profiting endeavor long term. So just another guy there. Savali against the Orioles, 21% K rate, low walk rate. Maeda against the White Sox, I think, might be a little bit interesting if you wanted to look at that. But, Gausman's the clear SP1 to me. But I think I'm going to try to find other places and try to be a little bit different. I just don't like attacking the Rangers. I mean, Gausman does have high upside here, but I think I'm just going to go somewhere else. What do you think, Nades? I mean, 50% ownership on a 6-game slate. I'm going to try to get different somewhere else.
Yeah, so it's a little bit different scenario on FanDuel, right, where you only have to play one pitcher. On DraftKings, where you have to play 2 pitchers. It's hard for me to get away from Kevin Gausman here. I think I would play him. I would just not probably play him with the Minnesota Twins bats, as we're going to talk on. Twins seem to be, especially with Coors Field, likely not going to play. Twins are going to be probably the most chalky stack on the slate by far. They're going against Urena, who's not any good on the starting mound. And everyone kind of wants to push the chips on Kent Maeda as well in terms of pitchers. So they're going to stack up Maeda. They're going to play Gausman, and they're going to play the Twins bats. It's kind of how I see this slate going right now. It's hard for me to get away from Kevin Gausman. I just don't care the ownership. He's got the highest ceiling by far out of anyone on the slate. And yeah, it's not the greatest matchup, but Texas hasn't exactly been incredible as of late. Just looking at the numbers here for these Rangers, they still, I mean, Evan Carter, yeah, he's been good. He's stealing bases, hitting some home runs, but there's strikeouts with him. It's just the slate overall is pretty gross in terms of pitching. That's why Kent Maeda is going to be the clear-cut chalk SP2. But even, I mean, Kyle Bradish, right? The other guy you're talking about up here, it's not like his matchup is bulletproof by any means either, right? Tampa hits a lot of home runs. Yeah, they strike out a little bit more here than the Rangers do. But you can argue, I mean, Yandy Diaz, Brandon Lau, or Rosarena, Josh Lowe is in there, Paredes. These guys have power, right? And they can get to starting pitcher too. So I do think Kevin Gausman, de facto SP1 for me on the slate, even with the ownership. It's just hard to ignore his strikeout upside. I mean, the guy's got a 32% strikeout rate on the season at home here. So I do like Kevin Gausman, even with the ownership. I'm out on Eovaldi. I just don't have a ton of interest. I mean, Toronto strikes out I think the lowest on the slate here. And 9,800. I just would much rather save $400 to play Kyle Bradish there against Tampa in a harder matchup. But you can always make a case to play a 1%, 2% owned pitcher on a smaller slate. So Eovaldi, if you have a conviction on him, you could play him. I'm personally out on him. And Savali's the other guy that I think I have a little interest in here. Yeah, the Orioles just don't strike out a lot, but it's just the nature of the slate. He's going to be very low owned. He could pop here. Low expected ERA. Kind of limits hard contact here. If he can pick up a couple strikeouts, that'd be good. So for me, it's really three guys that I have interest in: Kevin Gausman, Kyle Bradish, Aaron Savali would be my lower owned guy. Out on Logan Webb, I don't think that game plays at all. And then Eovaldi, I guess, is fine as a GPP unowned guy on a short slate, but really just don't love it either way. So that's the top tier. Again, pretty gross pitching slate, but a couple guys down here that I do think get played. Number one, Kent Maeda. 7,800 seems to be the clear-cut chalk. Like I said, the chalk pairings, Kent Maeda, Kevin Gausman. In cash, for sure. GPPs is probably going to be the same route. So hit on Kent Maeda, your interest there. And then any interest in Tanner Houck, Clark Schmidt, if you were playing DraftKings, that game is on the slate here. Personally, I don't have any interest in either of those. I like the offense in that park. And then really no interest for me down in the bottom, Chase Anderson, Urena, Brandon Walter, any of that stuff down there.
Yeah, the low end for me, I think the lowest I'm going to go is Maeda. I like attacking the White Sox, especially the right side of the plate. Maeda is pretty decent against righties, so that's where I'm going to pretty much go. Any of these lower end pitchers, I'm really not interested in. You mentioned Eovaldi. He only went 40, almost 50 pitches the second start off the IL, so I'd be a little concerned about his leash. And really the reason why I was thinking about jumping from Gausman to Maeda, I'm not disagreeing. I think Gausman's the top pitcher, best, highest upside. I just think it's going to be pretty chalky. I think Maeda might be able to keep up with him tonight, especially against the righties. Maeda's got a pretty long leash. That's why I like him tonight. Savali does concern me a little bit. He's had 20 starts. 15 starts of his have been under 5 Ks or less. So that does kind of concern me. But other than that, I think it's a short, condensed pitching pool, as you kind of mentioned. For me, I'm just going Maeda or Gausman on FanDuel. Pretty easy decision for me. But I think I'm going to probably play 3 lineups tonight, not really go that heavy. Tournaments are kind of weak tonight, as we were talking before we got on the air. Might just kind of mix it up a little bit, have a little action, enjoy some football, check my baseball. But, yeah, I think tonight it's going to be Maeda and Gausman for me. I mean, if you wanted to pivot to Bradish, I wouldn't even – Bradish or Savali, I think those are the only pitchers I'd even think about playing tonight. Obviously, that New York-Boston game is not on FanDuel, so no Clark Schmidt. None of those options. So, yeah, I think that's really it, really. I think it's pretty simple tonight. The question is in pitching, if you want to fade Gausman. If not, you get a nice price in Maeda, get you some extra bats if you want. But I also think tonight, Nades, if you do like to go down and pay a little down in pitching, don't be afraid to leave some salary on the table here tonight to get yourself a little bit different, especially in 4-game slates. And also don't be afraid to play a bat against the pitcher if you think the guy possibly has some home run upside. That's another way to get different in these kind of short slates. So, just kind of different little tricks of the trade, try to get different. But, yeah, I think for me, it's simple, Nades. It's either Gausman or I'm going down to Maeda. That's it.
Yeah, no, great breakdown. I'm in lockstep with you. Kent Maeda, probably my second favorite pitcher on the slate behind Gausman. I'm kind of eating the chalk here at pitcher. It's just hard to ignore. I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. It's just the nature of the slate that's in front of us. The only other two pitchers that I would even look at on the slate are Savali and Kyle Bradish. So pretty tight condensed pool for me. Those four pitchers, kind of the only four that I have interest in. I would rotate them around each other if you're playing multiple teams on DraftKings and kind of just approach it that way. Let's jump in then. Let's go game by game. We'll hit on the first game. I'll just touch on real quick is that 7:15 Eastern game. The Yankees, Red Sox. Obviously, none of these lineups are out because that game is still playing. So I do think some of the ownership gets suppressed a little bit because we're not going to get those lineups out until after that game finishes and close to first pitch in the second game of the doubleheader. But I loved Boston last night. I loved the lefties last night against Clark Schmidt. Love them here again. Boston's one of my favorite stacks of the evening. Probably actually my top stack of the evening when you factor in their ownership off of Minnesota. So I love the Boston lefties here again. Verdugo, Devers, Cassis, Yoshida, this Weiler Abreu guys, another value dude there. Reese McGuire, don't hate him. I played them last night. I stuck with the weather. Obviously, it bit me in the butt. That game got postponed. But, hey, that's why there's 7 days a week. That's why we have baseball every single day, Gyiraszin. You move on to today, you come right back. So I'm right back on the Boston train here. Really no too much interest on the Yankee side personally, but I won't think it's the craziest play. The Yankees do seem to be probably the second chalkiest stack of the slate, especially once that Coors Field game, if it does get postponed. Where are you going in this one in Fenway?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not playing on DK, but just kind of just looking at it here, I actually think that's probably, if that game was on FanDuel, I think that'd be a good game for a game stack, to tell you the truth. I do like the game stack there, but yeah, I think I would go with the lefties against Schmidt. Obviously, you got Cassis and Devers. That's probably where I'd look. But yeah, I didn't really dive too far into this game here, but yeah, I don't have any interest. I wouldn't have any interest really in any of the Yankees as much as I would the Red Sox here tonight.
Yeah, sounds like we're in lockstep. Yeah, I definitely prefer the Red Sox. Probably Red Sox, all things considered, my favorite stack of the night here. And don't Rafaela, I think is how you pronounce it. I don't know. I'm terrible with his last name. But the shortstop for Boston, I just saw he hit another home run in this first game. Hit a home run last 2 nights ago. Obviously, last night got postponed. And I think he's fine. He's still very cheap there at shortstop. He's going to get some ownership, I think, but just doesn't matter too much. So I do like him if he's in that lineup. Obviously, monitor those lineups until we get them once that first game is gone. Obviously, you can always play Aaron Judge, some of these Yankees power bats, but my interest resides on the Red Sox side. And I actually don't hate the game stack. It's the best hitting park on the slate against two pitchers that I think you can attack. So I do like the game stack for sure. It's definitely typically game stacks are always on their own. Gyiraszin, even with the Red Sox going to get ownership and the Yankees going to get ownership, you put them together, I think it does mitigate some of that total lineup ownership as a whole. So I do like it. Next game we'll hit on. This game is on FanDuel. It's the Texas Eovaldi Gausman matchup here. Pretty low game total. Obviously, when you have two quality arms on the slate, my interest would probably be more on the Blue Jay side here. Against Eovaldi, just coming back, right? Don't know how long he's going to go. But you can always make a case for a high, powerful offense. Mitch Garver, Corey Seager, those guys against Kevin Gausman, 60-some% owned on this slate. So don't think Texas would be the craziest plays. They're just very expensive, and I want to spend up a pitcher tonight here, so I don't think I can afford them to stack them up, but wouldn't hate a mini stack. Corey Seager, Mitch Garver, my two favorite. And then some of these Toronto pieces are pretty cheap against Eovaldi that still is trying to work back in after the IL stint.
Yeah, I mean, you look at that Texas you mentioned. I mean, Seager's got some great numbers against righties this year. That'd be a guy if you were playing Gausman and you could afford to pay up for a guy like Seager, you got a cheaper stack. I wouldn't fault you for that. But, yeah, I mean, these Toronto bats are interesting. But, Nades, the Toronto turned into the Twins for me from last year. Toronto's that team for me this year. They just can't seem to put it together all in one game. Low slugging percentage, not hitting home runs. Toronto's just a team I've kind of been staying away from. I was even kind of hesitant in playing Toronto in Coors, but Eovaldi, I don't expect him to go very deep here. I expect maybe 60 pitches, maybe 50, 60 pitches. They've been kind of babying him back since he come back off the IL. So that's, something to think about. They're going to be able to play the matchup bullpen game after. So, I think you're going to see maybe two at-bats halfway through the lineup for Eovaldi, and then you're pretty much going to see the rest of the bullpen. But you know what? Hey, in a short game slate like this, Gossman, if you wanted to, attack him with the Rangers, man, it'd be great leverage to do that. So, if that's something you want to do, it's got low percentages of probably hitting, but I don't mind that play at all if that's somewhere you want to go. Short slate, good team. I think they can turn the lineup over. So definitely interesting if you wanted to go that route.
Yeah, no, great breakdown. Kind of locks up with you. Don't think either side is crazy. Not my favorite. I like some other teams better. We'll talk about it in this next game. I like one of the sides here, and that's the Orioles here against Savale. Talked about how you could play Savale, but also Savale is a low strikeout guy, and the Orioles do have a lot of power bats, especially the top 5 hitters here: Austin Hayes, O'Hearn, Santander, Gunnar, Adley. Those are my top 5 bats, obviously 1 through 5 there for the Orioles. So I don't hate that. They do still have a 4.3 implied run total here at home against Savale. And Tampa, you can always make a case to play some power bats from Tampa. Josh Lau, I talked about, or Rosarena, Brandon Lowe. So don't hate some of those guys. But, yeah, I definitely think the Orioles are a fine stack here. Kind of put them in a secondary tier to the Red Sox, and we're going to touch on the Twins. I put those 2 above them. But offense, everyone's looking at the same slate in front of them. So a lot of people are going to have the same kind of thoughts. Don't think the Orioles are the craziest stack here tonight. Do you see something that I'm missing?
No, I like the Orioles. I actually like the lefties here. You look at Savali's numbers. Sure, he's been striking out some guys the last 30 days. He's at 32% against lefties the last 30 days, 31% against righties. But something I noticed, his hard hit rate against lefties is 63%, 44% against righties. He's at a 33% fly ball rate. So, guys are getting the ball in the air. So I like all these lefties here. You got Rutschman at the top, Henderson, Santander, O'Hearn. You got Mullins and Hicks. They can throw some serious lefties here at Savali. And I do like the Orioles here tonight. One of my favorite stacks. I think, as we mentioned already, the Twins probably going to be the most chalkiest. I think the Orioles right there for me are a team I think that can keep up with them. I think could even, be the top team on the slate here tonight. So Orioles for me, one of my favorite stacks. Love all the lefties. Just so many of them. You can get, like I said, you can get all the way down to Mullins, even Hicks, if you really wanted to get desperate there, cheap Pat. But, I like all these lefties here in the Orioles tonight.
Yeah, temperatures are in the 70s, about 8 to 10 mile an hour winds blowing in. But, again, it's the nature of the slate. It's a lower ownership. And the nice thing about the Orioles is they do steal bases, right? They will run. So I don't hate I think the Orioles are probably my 3rd favorite stack on the slate behind the Twins and behind the Red Sox. Both of those teams going to be higher owned than the Orioles. I did do the content over here, the slate plan. I do have the Orioles tagged as the low-owned stack, my favorite low-owned stack of the day against Savale, which I do think does pick up some ownership here, especially if that Coors Field game is crossed off the slate, because Logan Webb did project to have quite a bit of ownership there, even being in Coors Field against the Rockies. So once that gets canceled, which I am approaching the slate like there is no Coors Field because the weather is pretty bad there. Kevin Roth has it tagged as orange-red, so he doesn't think it's going to play either. That ownership on Logan Webb has to go somewhere, and there's $200 more as Savale right there, so I think he picks up more ownership as well.
One other thing, Nate, too, I noticed, Houston's has been the top hitting team here in the last 15 days, been crushing. You go to the number 2, it's the Orioles. So the Orioles been hitting really well, OPS at 842 the last 15 days. Other than the Astros, Orioles been right there. So I like this spot here today. Kind of sneaky, as you mentioned, but Orioles for me are sitting up at the top.
Yeah, I like the Orioles quite a bit here as well. Tampa Bay, not a ton of interest there against Bradish. I do think Bradish is a very good starting pitcher. He's got a big arm, big K rate, limits hard contact. I think he's a good option here tonight as well. He has the second best projection actually on the board, too, even above Eovaldi, way higher than Savale for only $400 more sandwiched between those two guys. So next game on the slate, we got to talk about it. It's the chalk offense. Everyone wants to play these Twins because they're cheap. They got over a 5 implied run total against a pitcher who doesn't strike anyone out, has the highest expected ERA on the slate, one of the highest in the league, sitting at 8.4. Barrel rate in double digits. This guy is just not cheap, not good. We've seen this scenario before, right, with Jose Arena on the mound here. But it is still the Twins offense, a very boomer bust offense, right? A lot of power, a lot of strikeouts come with it. I personally love the Twins. I probably wouldn't play them with Kevin Gausman. So I would probably do like a Kyle Bradish and someone else pairing, like either a Savale or a Kent Maeda pairing. If you play the Twins just to get some of that ownership down a little bit, or come to the back half of the lineup, play guys like Matt Wallner, Christian Vasquez, Willie Castro, Kirilloff. The back half of that lineup always standardly goes under-owned in the chalkiest team because people love to play the top 5, right? Top 6 hitters, because I generically right there have opportunity to get one more at bat than some of those guys in the bottom of that order. So I love the Twins here. Love them all. 1 through 9 are firmly in play for me. Definitely love Matt Wallner, Max Kepler, Jorge Polanco are probably my 3 favorites, but I don't think you can go wrong with any of them. And then on the White Sox side, I don't think the White Sox are the craziest play on the slate. You talk about leverage, and Kent Maeda is not bulletproof by any means, and he's going to be super chalky. So you could play it, but yeah, the White Sox just been a terrible offense. Personally, it would just be a leverage situation for me. So pretty much in this game, my interest resides on the Minnesota side. Do you see something I'm missing?
Absolutely not, man. Jose Urena, what the hell is he doing in the Major League Baseball anyway? Man, this guy's terrible. He might as well roll a damn kickball up there. That guy's so damn bad. But, I mean, you look at his K rate, it's absolutely terrible. I mean, this guy, I don't even know what he's doing. 6% to lefties, 14% to righties. Are you kidding me? I mean, this is terrible. But, yeah, I mean, I like the lefties for the Twins here tonight. I think Wallner's an interesting play. Julian's interesting. You know, we'll have to see how that what it all shakes out. I haven't seen the lineup yet if it came out. But, yeah, definitely interesting Twins. But, it's just the Twins haven't done us any favors. That White Sox bullpen isn't anything special. Twins obviously going to be really chalky. I do like the Orioles a little bit more than the Twins here tonight. I may just mini stack the Twins and maybe pick off Julie and maybe Wallner and hope to home run hunt, maybe get a home run, at least one out of the 2 of them. But, yeah, I mean, how can you go wrong? Jose Urena stinks, man. And he's so bad, they know throwing him out there. They might tell him, dude, you're going to throw 75 pitches. We don't care how many runs you give up, right? So, get us through, get us some innings. I think that's all. I mean, that's what they care about. So, for me, I think that Twins are just a no-brainer. But for me, I just think the Orioles are a better path to get to the top. So, I got them. But, yeah, I mean, Uranius is god-awful. And then you mentioned, maybe playing some White Sox against Maeda. I don't mind that at all. It's just something, if you wanted some leverage there. I just think Maeda's is a little better play than I want to use some bats against. But maybe if you wanted to find a one-off, I don't mind if you wanted to do that against Maeda at all. I mean, Robert obviously has been hitting the ball really well lately. I don't even mind Jimenez or Matt Vaughn either. But, yeah, definitely Twins are just – I mean, it's obvious. Jose Urena is terrible. He might be Adam Wainwright terrible. I think them two are pretty close to the worst 2 pitchers in baseball.
Yeah, well, I will tell you, I mean, his numbers are pretty much in lockstep with Kent Maeda's numbers over the last month. So that is one note to make. I mean, looking at Kent Maeda's numbers over the last month, strikeout rate to lefties is way down. So the lefties, I mean, you got Benintendi in there. Moncada's going to hit from the left side of the plate. Gavin Sheets. So only a couple lefties in there. But, I mean, even against righties, he's 361 ISO, fly ball rate of 37%. So he's getting hit hard from both sides of the plate. Fly ball hitter or fly ball pitcher. So I would look at the fly ball guys mainly for White Sox. The 2 most that stand out for me are Luis Robert, Lenyn Sosa. So kind of just mini stacks, one-offs, Robert, Sosa if you need a punt guy. But, yeah, I mean, Kent Maeda's not been any good. It's just the nature of the slate. But, yeah, Twins for me, I like 1 through 9, prefer the lefties, and then anyone else. We will touch on the Coors Field game just briefly. Again, I don't think this game personally plays. Monitor this game. I'm approaching this slate like it's not playing. I'm typically always going to fade a Coors Field slate on a smaller slate anyways because it just gets way too much ownership. And if it beats me, it beats me. I just like easier pass to the top, like you said, Gyiraszin. And that's usually not playing Coors Field on a smaller slate because everyone goes there. But the Giants, obviously highest implied run total on the slate, being in Coors Field against Chase Anderson. Logan Webb on the mound, very, very good real-life pitcher. Rockies sitting implied to score under 4 runs. Personally, no interest if this game does play on the Rockies side. But the Giants side, obviously 1 through 9, I think are firmly in play. always has the pinch hit concern with the Giants, which is always a struggle, especially with the lefties, right? Pedersen, Lamonte Wade, Bailey is a switch hitter in there, Brandon Crawford, Yastrzemski. Because if the Rockies do pull out a lefty after Anderson gets knocked around, a lot of those guys probably get pinch hit for. So don't think the Giants are the craziest plays. Again, I don't think this game personally plays. But if this game does play, where do you have interest?
Yeah, I mean, obviously with San Francisco bats, I mean, Anderson's strikeout rates have been puked the last 30 days. He's got 6% strikeout rate against lefties. That would put Yaz and Peterson and Lamont for me as some top plays here today, especially Jock Peterson with that home run power. So that's pretty much where I'd look, but I'm pretty much damn certain that game isn't going to play. And, I've been doing this a long time. I know you have two Nades. Kevin Roth does not miss on something generally that way. If he says it isn't going to play, it's probably not going to play. So, but I will say they are pretty, pretty patient a lot of times in Colorado, more so than most. But being in San Francisco, coming in all weekend, they know they can make it up tomorrow or Sunday. So I see them pretty much PPB in this game. And, hey, there's the other thing, too. With FanDuel, don't be a donkey. There's no other game after it, so you're not going to be able to swap any dudes out either. So, if that was a 7 o'clock game, maybe we could take a shot if there was a 10 o'clock game to where you could pivot off of it. But that's just not the case. So don't even think about that one here tonight. But, yeah, that game isn't going to play, Nades. We'll just have to sit back and enjoy the second half of some football tonight.
We're going to enjoy football. I'll tell you that right now. We're going to enjoy a lot of football. But, yeah, temperatures in the 50s. It's very, very wet in Colorado. I mean, you talk about wet and rainy, cold September, 50-degree weather. You think these guys from the West Coast out there coming in saying, yeah, I'm ready, I'm excited to play some baseball, you probably thought wrong, because I think they'd rather stay in their hotel rooms and play a doubleheader on a Friday than come out here and play on a Thursday night when there's football on the television. So don't think that game's going to play. That's going to do it for the breakdown here. Let's go ahead and jump into our favorite pitchers, our favorite stacks. Before we do that, if you guys, all 50 guys and women, I should say, out there, because I know my pal out there, Ash in Wichita, is not even a gambler there, Gyiraszin. She tunes in to watch, and she always picks on me for slandering her Kansas City Royals, but that's what happens. She likes my
dimples. That's why she likes my dimples.
That's what happens when you got a pretty woeful home team there. But hey, on the flip side, she gets the Kansas City Chiefs as her football team.
That's true.
She's a big Lions, big football fan.
What did I tell you all last Thursday? I told you all the Lions were going to beat the Chiefs. I told y'all. Y'all gave me
shit. The funniest part about that is she texted me. He's like, I didn't like your buddy slandering the Chiefs, saying his Lions are going to win, and well, you got paid, so
I called Torkelson that day to hit a bomb. The first
and
time
he doubled. He hit two
bombs.
Two bombs. Gyiraszin didn't miss. Well, let's go, Gyiraszin. Let's give us the pitcher. Give us the pitcher in the home run call. Don't miss today. Let's run it back. Where are you going, man?
I mean, Maeda and Gossman, that's it. But I'll tell you, my home run call, I'm going Mr. Gunnar Henderson for the Orioles. Give me Gunnar. That's my man. He's going to do it today.
I like it. Yeah, I'm going it's hard to give a low on pitcher on this play on this slate. I'll say it. My three favorite pitchers: Gausman, Bradish, and Kent Maeda. There's just no ifs, ands, or buts. I mean, it's just pretty cut and dry pitcher slate for me. Going with the chalk there. Typically, I don't do that too much. It's just the nature of the slate right now. But I'm going to go to my favorite offense, and I'm going to go to the cleanup hitter. I don't see the lineup out yet, but he is slated to hit fourth. It's going to be Tristan Casas in that second game of the doubleheader there. Little lefty against Clark Schmidt, 4,400 first base. I think he puts one deep down the right field line here in Fenway tonight off of Clark Schmidt. That's going to do it for the September 14th Witching Hour show for this baseball slate. Again, I appreciate y'all tuning in. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you have not already. Head over to the link that I'm going to post one more time in the chat here. If you are playing the Thursday Night Football Showdown contest on FanDuel or DraftKings, right there's the video. Click that link. It'll take you to the Mayo Media Network, our partner over here, where Hoop, Tambo, and Title broke down the entire slate tonight. Everything you need to build your lineups and hopefully be $1 million richer by the end of the night. That's what I'm going to try and do. Win $1 million tonight. Win some money in baseball. Gyirazin's going to hit a couple safety meetings, drink a couple Modelo's, a lot of high noons, tip them back, put some baseball on the TV, watch the football game. But we appreciate y'all tuning in. Good luck tonight in your contest. For Gyiraszin, I'm Nades. We'll catch you guys next time. Let's ship it.